Howdy, and welcome to another episode of Animatronic Retrospective. Woo! I'm Raya. An Animatronic Retrospective is the show where we deep dive into animatronic shows of our past. And this episode, it's finally happening. We're doing an international show. Yes! I've been wanting to do an episode that's not in the United States for such a long time, and it's finally here. We're finally doing it. Sorry, I'm just like holding Hotch over here. That prop is not relevant yet. And I thought it would be a perfect summertime show because frogs are very, around in the summertime. Not here though. We get a lot of lizards. All the baby lizards have hatched and they're running around and I appreciate it. We also have a lot of really cool beetles right now. I like when bugs are big. That's way better than if they're small, because if they're small, they can climb into your ear canal and make you deaf forever. What I'm trying to say is, a beetle would never wrong me like that. The animatronics in this video were brought to my attention by viewer Sandy, who emailed me a whole bunch of shows, and the way this show came up was like super random because I was looking at all the shows they sent me. I'm like, this is great, I love this. Wouldn't it be great if they were all frogs? Which is not a normal thing to say in a conversation. I don't know why I said it, and Sandy instantly was like, boy, do I have a show for you. So thank you, Sandy. And thank you to everyone who emails me their local animatronic shows that I may not cover otherwise. Whee! I love this episode already, and we haven't even started yet. Oh, the Hotcha Patch is relevant. Also, if you'd like to support the channel or you like the content I do, I'm selling Hotcha Patches. The first batch ran out. So I have a second batch. It's much smaller, and it's the last and final batch. I told you this prop would be relevant. Thank you to everyone who's bought one so far. It was very surprising. I just made them because I wanted one myself, and I thought maybe I should make more than one. So yeah, I'm glad y'all like them. Link to my website down below, and that will take you to the listing forum. Get them while supplies last. I should really get glasses with multiple lenses. I kind of like those. It makes me feel like a beetle. A beetle. It all comes back around. Let's start the episode. Woo! Do it!
Welcome to the LeapPad Learning System.
In 1646. In the Netherlands, Wassenaar, there was a place founded in the 17th century titled the Dunrell Estate. By the 20th century, it was owned by the Van Zuylen van Nivelt family. Nailed it. Is this a bad time to mention that I'm really bad at languages? Hold on, I'll look up how to say it. Van Zuylen van Nivelt. That is exactly what I said. Listen, I may be Dutch, but I obviously don't speak it. I'm gonna say a few things in this episode kind of weird and kind of wrong, and give me some grace. Philip Jules Grave. The whole episode's gonna be me doing this. Philip Jules Graaf van Zuylen van Nieuwveld, the Queen's Chamberlain and Master of Ceremonies, gained ownership over the Dunrell estate. Wait, I have it on a map. Wait, I forgot to put it on the map. Wait. Philip Jules Graaf van Zuylen van Nieuwveld gained ownership over the Dunrell estate after marrying his wife. In 1935, he took the farm section inside of Dunrell and opened it to the public as a tea garden. The farm's sheepfold became a restaurant, and playground equipment was installed for families to play. The reason Philip did this was to avoid taxes. Course. The 1928 Nature Conservation Act gave him a big old tax break, and the ticket sales that followed didn't hurt either. From 1936 and onward, the Dunrell estate hosted motor clubs and races, built ski slopes out of questionable materials. Some of these activities, you may notice, don't seem very environmentally conscious, which was the whole point of the tax break. This was the beginning of Dunrell as a place of public recreation. Philip, who I really couldn't find a picture of, I can find a picture of his ancestors and I can find pictures of his descendants, but I can't find a picture of this guy. So I made him a frog. Philip also really seemed to hate the tourists in his park. He once was reported to have climbed onto the roof of his castle and fire a gun into the air to scare them off. Don't do that. You literally let people on your land. They paid to be there. That, Mr. Tax Break. You did this. When Philip van Zylen van Nieuwelt died either May 11th or May 12th, I've gotten conflicting sources for that. It was nighttime, so it's possible it was the stroke of midnight. Okay. 1940, Europe, the Netherlands specifically, World War II was kind of ramping up. The Netherlands was invaded and occupied by Nazi Germany, and this included the Dunrell estate, specifically the castle where the Van Zylen van Nieuwelts lived. Philip's son, Hugo, recalls his dad shooting a gun into the air, aiming at the Nazi Junkers flying through the sky, trying to hit them. Gotta stop shooting guns. This is the last memory that Hugo had of his father. A day later, Philip van Zylen van Nieuwelt was identified as a suspicious passerby. Suspicious passerby. What does that mean? And killed by Dutch soldiers. He was killed on his estate. Like, that's his house. He was wandering around at night doing what? This article says Philip was shot dead in his car on his own estate by a suspicious Dutch soldier patrolling the grounds who had mistaken him for an enemy intruder. So the Dutch soldier this time was suspicious. He was a little gun happy. His death is officially listed as war victim. Wasn't even killed by a Nazi. He was killed by his own countrymen. No. Goodbye, Philip. Everyone say goodbye to Philip. He's dead. He's not coming back to the story. Goodbye, Philip. I don't mean to make light of Philip's death. I just, I'm confused by it. I finally found an article detailing how Philip got shot. I couldn't find this for months, but here it is. He was actually on a mission for the Dutch government, so what killed him was his speeding. Yeah, he was driving too fast and Dutch soldiers opened fire on him for it. And it's strange because some of the articles and obituaries that I've been quoting and referencing are gone. I can't find them anymore. Which sounds like I've been making stuff up, but I haven't been. Let's just consider this mystery solved. This next name is going to take me out like a Dutch soldier that thinks I'm suspicious. Constance Rhoda Diederica Edith van Palant, the Countess van Zylen van Nieuwelt, Baroness van Paland. We're going to call her Constance. After the death of her husband and after the Nazis finally left, she regained ownership over the estate and its adjoining park. Constance was looking to sell the land to a controversial property developer, but her son, Count H.R.J. van Zylen van Nieuwelt, aka Hugo, he's back. Hugo was determined to keep the estate within the family. In 1962, Hugo bought out both of his sisters in order to take over the growing Dunrell Park. Being the one who opened the official camping site in '59, Hugo was already very invested in the growth of the park, and he kept a green notebook that listed everything he wanted to do. Expansions that tended to lead to clashes with the Council of Wassenaar and the locals who wanted to preserve the natural beauty of the estate and its surroundings, especially after the war damage. Ensuing conversations about traffic jams the park caused, the damage to Dunrell's nature, left Dunrell a bit controversial. But Hugo didn't slow down. He added pedal carts, swimming pools, slides, bigger campsites, expanded playgrounds, roller coasters, and rides. You know that post that goes around a lot about the underwater water slide that looks like 1 billion people died in it? That's at Dunrell. At least it used to be until it closed. So you're probably already familiar with this park, whether you know it or not. Most importantly, in 1978 was the introduction of Dunrell's official mascot, the frog. In 1978, there was this part of Dunrell that had an open area seating facing the park's water organ. I will not lie, I had to look up what a water organ was. I've never heard of a water organ, and the whole concept kind of confuses me because water organs are indeed a thing, but the water organs in the Netherlands specifically look like water shows to me. So I'm not sure if there's like a weird translation issue when I was trying to research this part. Is this a water organ? Or is it a water show of sounds connected to it? No. But apparently, this water show I'm currently showing you, to the best of my knowledge, is a working water organ that can be played by an organist. How? Hugo described the water organ as being interactive due to the live organist, but he had one problem. The organist was retiring. What was he going to do with a water organ and its outdoor seating without the organist? I mean, it's not like you could just hire a new organist. I don't know about this section of the story, guys. Everyone who talks about it is like, what is he going to do with this area? And I'm like, he could just get a new organist. Are we pretending that's not an option here? The first choice, of course, is not to hire a new organist. The first choice is to hook it up to a computer system, a 1978 computer system. Unfortunately, this sucked. They didn't like it. I guess it wasn't interactive because it was just playing musical notes, and apparently that wasn't good enough. Whatever are we going to do with this open area seating and this water organ? Just get a new organist. No, we need to do something cooler. It was 1978. There's only one real solution. Animatronics! Hugo got the idea to add an animatronic attraction similar to the one seen at Disneyland and Disney World at the time. By 1978, it appeared that electronic entertainment was the way of the future, with smaller animatronic shows beginning to pop up around the United States, proving the art was no longer a trade secret and doable outside of larger companies. Preparations for the animatronic show at Dunrell began. Frogs were chosen as the main characters, living in the ponds and ditches of Dunrell and its campsites. The characters were designed by Peter Colley, Dunrell's in-house designer who lived at the estate. Hugo explained that Peter had no fixed working hours and worked when inspired. So, can I apply to this job? The animatronic show was developed technologically by German company Hoffmann Figurine. Founded all the way back in 1878 as Christian Hoffmann Spielwaren Fabrik, a toy manufacturer. Is that not cool as hell? Hoffmann would do window displays that contained simple automatons, and this of course translated very well to the animatronic boom. Right here. What's cooler than that is the Hoffmann company is still family run to this day. I've got one of them here. This is Reinhard Hoffmann. He joined the company in 1972 and was around when they developed the animatronic show for Dunrell. And that's how a 100-year-old toy company transitioned into the blooming animatronic business, something that they're still working in to this day. Fantastic, smart business move. Musician Hans Vermeulen provided the soundtrack, and Robert Paul provided the lyrics. The voices of the characters were also done by Robert Paul, Anita Meyer, and Diane Marshall. Robert Paul also provided the script after initially rejecting the first draft. Paul had said, "I remember being approached by Hugo to talk about the Frog Show. There was already a script and it was written by someone who wasn't a scriptwriter. I read it and said I was willing to do the Frog Project, providing I could rewrite the script." Hence, the Kikkershow, known in English as The Frog Show, was completed and opened the following year in 1979. Wait till you see this tag. I think for hippopotami I had a really long tag, and for this one it's about to get that much worse. The host of our show is, are you ready for this? His name is Diedrich van Driltot Slottencruise. And yes, I did spell tot wrong. I put an E instead of an O. It was really long, and this is a lot of letters. As I mentioned, Diedrich is the host of the Frog Show and introduces us to the other characters. Kind of like me. Diedrich goes on to become the main mascot of Dunrell Park, usually called Rick instead of his full God-given name. Kicker Rick. Yeah. I can see it. He stands on a tiny stage with hinged doors on the left side of the water organ. His original outfit is red with sequins dots, and he has some wardrobe changes throughout the decades. Next, we have a smaller stage on the right side of the water organ, shared by 3 characters in an international trio called Ritmo et Kicker. Oh, nailed it! Are you ready for this name I'm about to say? Are you ready? Are you ready? First, we have Louis Brown. That's so easy to say. Louis Brown, Louis. And yeah, they all sing their names, so whenever I say their names, my brain is like, from the United States. He speaks English. He's cats. I was so sure that Louis Brown would be the frog on the banjo. He's not. You know, the banjo, an instrument with very heavy African and North American roots, specifically United States roots, from the United States. Yeah, so that frog is not him. He's over there playing the damn cello. Maybe it's a bass. The only reason that I know that this frog is specifically Louis is because his earlier coloring is much more distinct and darker than the other 2 characters. I quote, "He's Louis Brown, Louis from the United States." So sorry. It's only gonna get worse. Wait till I get to the next character. The next performer is... For full disclosure, the way I listened to the band is I had to listen to the recording that came off a record, and then I had to translate it. But sometimes it won't translate it for me, and I'm just like, oh no. So I listened really hard to this one because I'm like, he has to be saying his name in this section here, just like the other 2 characters around him say their names. But for some reason, I could not hear him. And what I'm hearing is Spanish for branches. And to be fair, branches is a really great name for a frog. But that's not his name. Luckily for me, Donrel has an excellent community that adores this park and leads to a lot of documentation and information not on the searchable English web. Yeah. Shout out to the Facebook group for letting me in first off and letting me look at all of the really cool stuff that they have on there. And after some digging while I was watching K-pop Demon Hunters, I finally came across a picture of the show's vinyl that has the cast of characters listed on the back, which includes this frog's name, Juan de Ramadas. Oh, now I hear it every time I hear the song. Juan de Ramadas. I got it. From
South America.
He's just from the whole continent. Yeah, the international band is a little funny because, we'll get to that in a second. He likes pineapples, has 2 tiny, adorable maracas, and in a later wardrobe change, a tiny little hat. Juan de Ramadas. I have been singing Juan de Ramadas' name around my house for the last 2 months, so that's nice. Last in our international band, we have Lucien Decandence. What? Decadence. Lucien Decandence. He is a French frog playing the banjo. Why is he playing the banjo? Why is Louis Brown not playing the banjo? When Lucien is singing, you know what instrument you hear? Not the banjo. You hear the accordion, which is such a French-coded instrument. I own an accordion from a French person. Like, yeah, that would be a way better instrument to choose. Why the banjo if you're not even going to have it in the soundtrack? I just think there was a mistake somewhere. Louis Brown is this one, and the one that says he's Lucien is this one. I know it's correct, but my brain is telling me it's wrong. It's like how my brain switches up almonds and pecans. To me, I know which one's almonds and pecans, but in my brain, I have to fix it every time. So I'm like, it's a pecan, and then I switch it around to what I know it actually is. Pecan is such a sharp word, and it should belong to the sharp nut. And almond is a gentle word, and it belongs to the gentle nut. I don't make the rules, which is why they're named incorrectly. And every time I talk about almonds, I think of pecans, but then I have to switch it around to what an almond is to everyone else. And I've never made the mistake in the last 10 years, but to this day, I still do that. Where am I? Why is the French frog playing the banjo when you have a black-coated American frog right here? There's no banjo sounds. What's with the banjo, Lucien? It's fine. I'm joking, I think. I know French people can and have played the banjo. This is a very serious show about a serious history of animatronics. That's all the international we got. We have the United States, we have the entire continent of South America, and we have France. Did want to briefly mention a character that is not up here because he's not an animatronic, but he's still a very integral part to the show. I didn't forget about Herbert. We'll talk about him in part 4 during the music show section. Last but not least, we have the Kikkerettes, which are the 3 lady frogs right here. They are from Hawaii, if you couldn't tell by their subtle dress. Kitty's sitting on one of their names right now. Pardon me, Kitty. Thank you. In order of how I have them pictured, we have Tetia, Sensula, and lastly we have Hipparita. I wish there was more I could say about them other than they are just so hot. They're the hottest frogs you're ever gonna see. Look at them. Wow. They sing, they dance, they introduce themselves, but without any real character descriptions, and then they leave. Hold on, the cat stole something. Are their names puns? I don't know. At the common American pizza arcade, the animatronic show segments rotate accordingly. Ideally, you could be sitting in the family entertainment center for hours and not hear the same show twice. Amusement park animatronic shows are a little different in this regard. They tend to have one show that plays all throughout the day, usually at set times. There are exceptions to this, of course, like seasonal segments, or like the Care Bears Care-Lot Castle show. While I was making that video, I thought that was very unusual that at different times of the day you could see different types of shows, because at theme parks this is not very common. That's why when dozens of wonderful folks send me the Captain Andy at Yokohama, like the showcase there, they have an American section where they had a Captain Andy, and people will call it the full show. It's a cut down 12-minute abridged version meant for a theme park. There's a lot of known Captain Andy segments and songs that are not included in those 12 minutes because Captain Andy was a restaurant show meant to switch up their segments so the people eating pizza won't go crazy. Captain Andy was my first video and I totally missed the 1-year anniversary of it. We've been doing this for over a year now, and we missed the anniversary, guys. It's too late. All that being said, the Kikkershow had one 16-minute show. It's honestly very difficult for me sometimes to follow along because of the obvious language barrier. There's a language barrier in this episode, but this is roughly how the show went. The show begins with the Frog National Anthem. Putting that in F tier.
Want het heeft 3 kikkerbiljoen coupletten. Dus die zingen we even heel snel door.
Oh, come on. Our host, Diedrich Bondrill Tot Slattenkroos, introduces the international trio, Ritmo at Kikkershow, consisting of Brown, Louis Juan de Ramanas, and Lucien. They each have a little introduction that Rick does not have time for. Diedrich actively hates everything that the trio does. He's kind of a hater. The trio's over here sharing an environmental message, and Diedrich is very dismissive and interrupts. Calm down, dude! So the trio leaves on strike, I think?
Bom, bom, bom.
Bam, bam, bam. Then Diedrich shows off the water organ. It does a little show, and it's here that we meet Herbert van Kikrien. After all the heckling Diedrich does to the trio, it's now his turn. Herbert is the owner of the water organ, and he makes Diedrich so very flustered and uncomfortable. I'm not quite sure why.
Wir spielen mit mein Waterorgel Symphonieorchestfontein.
Nou, ja meneer. Nee meneer.
Herbert is a disembodied, altered, flat voice that comes from the back speaker located behind the audience, implying that he isn't a part of the Kikkershow. He's a heckler. And then that segment ends and we are introduced to the girls. It actually is a huge pet peeve of mine when an animatronic show has a copy-paste trio of, like, ladies, and it's like, you could have just made a female character. And worse yet, if they share the same movements. The trio is definitely just copying the Country Bear Jamboree with Bubbles, Beulah, and Bunny. But at least in Country Bear Jamboree, they have Trixie and they have Teddy Beara. Just like at least Captain Andy has Honeysuckle and Mrs. Bullfrog and Texas Longhorn Review. At least that show has Fifi Lemieux. Get it? She's a cow. That was a tangent. The Frogettes appear in the same stage as the Ritmo et Kikero trio with the use of a revolving stage. The Kikkerettes, Sensula, Hipparita, and Tatia are hula dancers from Hawaii. Which one's which? Darn it, I did my best. After the Kikkerettes song and dance, Herbert comes back, calls Tatia beautiful, calls Diedrich pathetic, and then plays his water organ for the audience. The Ritmo et Kikero trio return for a swim, and then they play us out. It's a simple script in the form of a variety show. The only shakeup really is Herbert, and that's about it. The music. The show.
It's not easy being green.
After Dunrell's first animated show, the park added so much more. Dunrell also has the Quackus Pebble show. Then in 1983, there was the Colder Zolder show. Colder Zolder means cold attic, but in Dutch it rhymes. And this show looks so good. Look at all the stuff. Who is that? I love this lady cat so much. Like, I think about her a lot. She's so funny. The Kikkershow ran for 11 years before being replaced by the Play Quick show. The original Kikkershow animatronics were repurposed around the park. Diedrich Van Drill tot Sottencruise was reused as a barker in a glass case. The Ritmo et Kikero trio were placed at a music kiosk alongside a larger piano-playing frog. Admittedly, I'm not sure if Diedrich's animatronic is still there to this day, and I'm pretty sure the musical kiosk got torn down, so they're gone. It's speculated that one of the Frogettes' faces was used on a new character in the Play Quick show. Yeah, let's discuss the Play Quick show. The name is derived from the popular playback show where people would lip-sync popular songs. The Play Quick show. The playback show. The Play Quick show. You hear it? You hear it? If you didn't hear the Frog National Anthem from before, don't play it again. Frogs say Kwek in Dutch. I really like the way other languages say animal noises. Like in German, right? Kikkeriki, 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 kikkeriki. Playback shows. I know there is a popular version, and frankly, hot take, I can't imagine anything more boring than watching someone lip sync. Seen it, you coward! So the Play Quick show followed the format of a game show with multiple performances and a final interactive vote where the human audience can choose the winner of the competition. It's 15 minutes, it's run by new host, Frog Bill, Kicker Bill. He has hair, fisherman, Peter Prinz, who isn't happy about them doing a show. His role is that of a heckler, but he is also a participant, using a Prince cover. Hypocrite! We have band Banana Quacka with Anja, Stanja, and Tanja, a reference to the band Bananarama. Then we have the fish jury, where the fish rate the performances. Little Billy, Frog Bill's son, who helps with the scoreboard. He is adorable. Ta-da! Benny Beaver, our first non-frog performer, who imitates Dutch singer Benny Neyman. The water organ, of course, is still present. And lastly, we have band Status Kwek, who are individually unnamed, and a reference to status quo. The performer or performers that win the audience vote then gets to reprise their songs at the end of the show. It appears to me that if no audience is there to vote, Benny Beaver always wins. He wins all the time. The first 3 videos I watched, he won every single time. But if you dig deep enough, you can find other contestants winning. The play Kwek show, like the Kikkershow, got a visible refurb, which unfortunately left some band references pretty off base, but overall it has not changed its format since the 1990s. I like it, it has a lot of charm.
Ta-da!
The show is fun and interactive, and it still performs at Dunrell to this day. Unfortunately, Hugo died in 2018. His sons, Philip Hugo and Roderick Joan, burned. Barons van Zeilen van Nieuwelt took over management and run the park together to this very day. Oh, like my alligator pen? Pretty good, right? I realized I didn't have any frog stuff. I am frog poor, but I have alligator stuff. I have lizard stuff. I've got beetles. I'm Raya. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked our first international animatronic video. Don't forget to give yourself a Hacha Patch. You can eat him like a blue raspberry. I'm a creator.
Ta-da!
The video game I'm making is kicking my ass. I used to say 2026. Let's just say 2036 and call it a day. I make comics, I make art, I make videos just like this one if you want to stick around. You know how to support the channel, so I'm not going to tell you how, because I know you know. And golly gee, I hope another video comes out soon. I don't know about that, boys. I guess I can finally change out of this really hot suit jacket. I'm pretty sure it's 95 degrees outside and I'm in many layers. So until next time where I'm bumming around in your computer screen. Oh, this video is running on too long.